What's up, email geeks? Welcome back to another episode of Feedback Friday. This week, we're taking a look at the email strategy of Surreal, a UK-based brand that's making some waves on really good emails. We've got Max from Well Copy with us, an e-commerce email marketing expert who's generated over $40 million in revenue for some top brands. He'll be sharing his insights on some unique Surreal emails, from teaser campaigns to referral strategies and everything in between. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started with email marketing, stick around. You're going to pick up some actionable tips and tricks to help boost your own campaigns. Let's jump right in. All right, we picked a few different emails from this brand, Surreal. It's been trending on really good emails. It's from the UK. They're like a Magic Spoon competitor. They're doing some interesting things with different types of emails. I thought it would be up your alley to talk about with your e-commerce background.
Let's do it.
So this first one, I would almost consider this like kind of a product launch email. So this is, I guess, a little bit of a teaser type email. They're saying, guess our new flavor. They have some interesting CTA copy. What could it be? Trying to entice the audience a little bit. And then bringing people down. Not a ton going on in this email, to be honest. But have you seen like sort of these teaser campaigns work well for your clients? Or are you going right into a product launch?
Oh, no, absolutely. This sort of stuff, like I like to use email just like it's a educational mechanism. It's not like I don't think of email as the conversion mechanism. I view it as like part of the funnel and the customer experience. I don't really like to track revenue too much from email and some other things or really give it a lot of credit. So I think of everything from a customer experience point of view. If I'm a customer, is this something fun that I would enjoy? And a lot of it, yes, you have to use the numbers. Click rates is one of the main things that I really like to look at. But something like this for the customer experience, I think that's super fun. That's the biggest thing for me. Couple lines of copy, 2 CTAs that are both centered. They look the same. They're not trying to get too fancy. Super simple email. It has the pizzazz at the bottom there with that GIF. But 100% we see these emails like perform well in terms of getting a launch to outperform not having something like this. So like, oh my goodness, Surreal is having this new flavor. Like nobody's doing that, but sending something like this, that's like ideally what you want to happen, but it doesn't happen. But it plants a seed in someone's mind, like in the back of their head. They have that. And so you occupy a little bit more mental real estate when you do something like this. And so that the customer is a little bit more primed to when they see that email notification in the subject line that says just dropped, they're a little bit more likely to just click open and be like, oh yeah, people are talking about this because they saw this sort of email come out. And it's very telling. If somebody sends an email and they're not even selling to you, they're just trying to like hype something up, then that kind of tells you, okay, this is legit. This is real. And so I think that's also why it performs well. Something I really like to do, which is probably like one of the little quick tips that I do for clients that ensures that you always are generating decent revenue on every email. So if you scroll to the bottom there, there's nothing in the footer except for the social media links. We see so much success putting shop now buttons and shop by category buttons in the footer of every email because maybe somebody doesn't care about their cereal, but they have another line of products that this company sells. And somebody receives this email and it's like a reminder to them like, oh, this brand, I actually ran out of like my yogurt or whatever. And if you have buttons conveniently placed in your footer, then anytime somebody scrolls to the bottom of your email, you always have those buttons in the footer that always pick up clicks. Like when we look at our click data in Klaviyo and other platforms, like even when we've tested this with different setups on click tracking, half of our clicks on our emails come in the footer. By putting like a 2x2 button stack of shop by this category, shop by this category, shop by this one, and shop by this one, explodes click rates because people, they get to the bottom and it's what now? And so that's a huge low-hanging fruit that I could see for this brand to immediately boost their click rates. But that was one thing that I did want to point out.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. I'm a big fan of the bottom footer. I do sometimes think it being up top, it distracts from that main message or of a headline or a CTA, sure. But adding it to that bottom section and having some useful links, adding those links is a useful jump off point for people that maybe scroll to the bottom and aren't really sure or not interested in that message. They can still take a next step with your brand. So
I agree 100%. I'm not a nav button in the header type of guy. I've never seen it perform well for conversions. It distracts people.
All right, we'll keep moving. They do have a really fun kind of tone of voice. They're using a lot of like humor, playfulness. They use a lot of bold colors, bold text. So I think they're playing a little bit on that nostalgia aspect and then also trying to make this a fun brand. It's not super serious. It's just cereal. This one is a kind of a feature product, a product highlight type email. And what caught my eye in this one is they're using a lot of social proof with these customer testimonials. And I think in some of the posts I've seen that you've made, you find these pretty useful.
Oh yeah, 100%. People know like what's happening in the email inbox. And if you're sending like a whole email about reviews, they're like, Okay, they're legit, especially like when the reviews are you throw stars in their face. That like subconsciously gets people to trust you. And it's so simple. I see a lot of people, they try to have these crazy in-depth reviews and these super long emails where it's like, hey, check out all these reviews. Sometimes having a simple top header with some copy and then three quick testimonials, like it does the job because really not many people are actually reading these reviews. Not many people read your emails. They will barely skim it. They'll look at like the first couple lines of each testimonial here. It's just the fact of them being there. It doesn't necessarily need to be the super long, passionate testimonial, although we found some recent email campaigns where we choose one. We just have an email which shows a single testimonial that's really passionate. It's like, Carol loved this. You might like it too. Shop now. And we've seen those perform really well. But for stuff like this, like when you're just trying to have a little bit of trust built up, these perform really well. I just love how simple it is. They're not trying to do too much with this email. They're not saying, hey, look at our testimonials and look at this benefit of our product. And then look at this one, then look at this one, and then follow us on social media, and then check out our referral program. The whole point of this email is just, hey, people are liking this. You might like it too. And that's probably why it performed well. I can tell it got a lot of clicks.
I like to say like you're like guaranteed one click, and whatever your main CTA is, you need to understand that's what most people are going to click on. So I think they've done a really good job on keeping those CTAs really focused and not over bombarding the person with a lot of options or choices. They're keeping their message pretty focused.
Just try to get your customer to do one thing. That's all you want them to do. You want one message to be picked up per email, and then you want one action to be taken. So that's why typically I don't like to show so many benefits of my product at all times. I just like to choose one per email. You're lucky if you get a customer to look at your email for 3 seconds. And so you really don't have a lot of time to get information across. So if you can just like triple down on one specific thing, make a super simple email that someone can understand in 2 to 3 seconds of looking at it, then you're going to be in a good spot.
I think someone gave a talk at our Unspam conference where they were saying like 4.5 to 4.8 is actually like a really weird good number because it's like it seems a little bit more legitimate.
100%. In like our testimonial emails, I always like to be sure to put the cumulative review number. If it's like 4.7 out of 5 based on 13,146 reviews, it's like you can't lie about that. People think platitudes are fake. So if you say a platitude like we are the best in the world, they think that's fake, but they accept every fact as true that you put in marketing because they know that you can't lie about a fact. And so that's why you really want to use facts and state numbers like that because people will always accept it to be true. And so that's why one single fact, one single statistic can transform your copy and your email conversions, ad conversions, whatever you're doing. One single thing can really transform it because people will accept it to be true. So when you say 4.7 out of 5 on 13,167 reviews, it's okay. This is legit and they're not lying. Everybody knows you could pull 3 good testimonials off the worst website ever. It just adds more legitimacy to it.
Cool. We'll keep on moving. An interesting trend is building a bundle in order to save more money. Have you done any sort of bundling within your products or any stuff that you're trying to sell?
One of the things that I notice is if you run the same offer, say for sales, you always run 20% off, you're going to get a lot of fatigue from the list that way. And it's really going to go down in performance. And so you need to get creative with your offers every now and again to make sure that you're having some novelty because people like new more than anything. That's also why you need to be sending new types of emails, new angles, new designs, and always mixing things up because if somebody knows every single email they're going to be getting the same templated thing, they're not going to keep opening because it's not new. And so same thing with offers. And so bundle offers are like a great way to make things up, in my opinion, and we've seen some success with it and just overall sale performance rather than just drilling 10% off, 20% off, 15% off. It's a great way to mix things up. And if you can lean in on the benefit of it, for example, save yourself one trip to the digital aisles by buying your next 2 months worth of cereal today, and you get to save this much. Or like, you're going to have to come back and get a couple more boxes in a few weeks. Save yourself the couple taps by doing it now. Something like that, we see some success with it. But I think they did a great job here because it's so simple. Why build a box? They're 3 simple points. They're not trying to do paragraphs of information where somebody knows you're trying to sell them. It's just save up to 25%. You get to mix and match your flavors, and there's a ton of variety because we have 7 of them. I think that it's really strong. I don't think this is going to be Black Friday level type of deal. It's more just to mix things up and give people the option who do buy in bulk and just like to add some novelty to some of your offers.
Yeah, totally. I feel like if you even outline this email and if it was just plain text, like it does almost feel like a little introduction, then some like bullet points and like a call to action. So even in that way, I like how it's set up. Yeah, I think it's very clear, very easy to skim and read, like you're saying, with the one column, and brings you right down to a CTA.
This to me is a near perfect email. For what it's trying to do, this is near perfect. I love a simple headline that's branded with a cool graphic, a nice button right at the top so the customer doesn't have to scroll, some quick, short, snappy copy right below it, and then a quick graphic of some main points. They don't have to look at like these distracting graphics. You don't have to squint your eyes to try to click. You don't have to work to try to find a button to click. No, everything is laid out for you, super clean, super easy. Somebody who's in line at McDonald's, briefly going through their email inbox, going through their emails, they're only looking at your email for 2 seconds. They have a chance to understand your message and click super easy. This for me, as far as layout and the job it's trying to do, is like a near perfect email. I'd really like to see the footer buttons, because maybe somebody doesn't give a crap about bundles and they just want one thing. Right now, that person doesn't have an option to shop when they get to the bottom of this email. And so that right there, I'm sure they'd get a couple more sales from those people who, oh, this was a cool email, and oh, I actually am in the mood for cereal, but I don't want to buy a bundle. It's too much work for them to click a button and then navigate your site to try to find a single option. No, they should have those options in the footer so that those people can still click onto the site and they're not cut off.
One topic that, around Black Friday that we've been talking about is for brands that don't discount really, like how can you still provide value? And I think bundling in some way is a way to still do promotional type discount where it doesn't really feel like you're giving 30-40% off the entire site.
So one of my brands I've been working on for a while that I'm really close with, like for them last year, what crushed and what they're doing again this year is they don't really like to discount all that too much. And so what they do for like Black Friday is they do product releases, and they'll give like offers, but the main thing around their Black Friday is product releases. So if you're not like a discount brand, like start prepping today, like hopefully you already have it like planned out, but like have new products that you're releasing. So like for them this year, it's 5 days of different product releases every single day. And so it's still like a massive Black Friday event, but it's not buy one, get one free where it's like super Black Friday like everyone else. It's no, we're releasing a new product that's limited time. Each one you can only get access for 24 hours for 5 straight days. So that's one way to like really engage your list and not do the basic, it's 20% off flat on everything in the store.
Out of ideas for your upcoming holiday campaigns? BeFree's got your back. Cut through the BFCM noise with strategies that stand out. From early bird offers to last-minute deals, we've got templates that boost open rates and keep your customers coming back. Whether it's mobile, desktop, or that one ancient device in the corner, BeFree's templates are ready for action. Leverage customer data to make every email feel personal. Add interactive elements that make people want to click, and watch those abandoned carts come back to life. Ready to make some BFCM magic happen? Visit befree.io or the link in the description to get your secret weapon for Black Friday and Cyber Monday success.
All right, we'll move on to the subscription. So they also do subscriptions, which I guess a lot of brands do. I feel like there's tons of coffee subscriptions, things like that. But yeah, just a different type of email. I haven't really done as much subscription type emails, so I wonder if you had any tips on any of the stuff that you've done.
With these subscription emails, nobody cares about anything besides saving money. Like the Total Control early bird specials, like nice little add-ins, but nobody cares. They really care about the savings. That's the only reason someone's going to subscribe. More often than not, you sending an email with a subject line like, if you subscribe, you save this much. If there was a way to track what got a person to like actually subscribe on this email, I would say 99% of them subscribed because like of the discount. And so like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't include those benefits, like you should, but I wouldn't try to overthink subscription emails, because in our experience, if we send a simple email that's like just a reminder that if you subscribe, you get to save an extra X%, that usually is enough to get somebody to go over the edge. Maybe just hint on, hey, why keep reordering when you can get it just sent to you automatically? Or really something that works for gift giving especially is gifting somebody a subscription. So a lot of times we will lean into that more because it's holiday season. You don't just buy somebody a single box of cereal. That would be a pretty bad Christmas present. But you could say, hey, I got your breakfast covered for the next 12 months. I got this subscription for you. So that's something that you can lean in on. That's an angle that we see working as well. For some other brands is, hey, have anybody have a special event going on in their life? Like, do you have a birthday coming up? Gift them like 3 months of free meals or whatever. For some of our brands where it's like luxury food, subscribe somebody for 3 months of meals so they don't have to worry about it. They get a new meal every week, yada, yada, yada. So that's an angle we see work. But mainly, it's price. I always like new angles, newness. 100% this is stuff that you should be sending. The more variability you can get in the types of emails you're sending, the better, because it'll keep people subscribed.
All right, well, we'll keep moving on. This one kind of popped out to me. It's an interesting combination. I guess it's a little bit different than a normal like browse abandonment or abandoned cart. They do bring in a product, but I thought an interesting thing that I've been seeing a lot more is this like us versus them comparison chart here in an abandoned cart. I really haven't seen that one before. I've only seen that more like in a product or a welcome series. So do you feel like this abandonment cart gets the job done, or would you improve it in some way?
Couple things that stand out to me. I'd like to see where in the abandonment flow this email was sent. One thing I don't like is I always see the most success where you put the specific item the person abandoned right at the top of the email above the fold, because that's what'll catch somebody's eye. Right now, when I'm looking at the top section right here, I can't even tell that it's an abandoned email that's custom to me. This person just left this product behind and we can grab their attention. So typically I just have a thin slice at the top that's just like addressing the abandonment of being like, hey, did you forget something? Or some social proof if you want, but then just right in their face putting like, you left this behind, just because that grabs their attention. They're like, this email was custom for me. So that's the one thing that sticks out to me about this email. I like what they're saying. I think it's good, but I think it's burying the abandoned item. To like the us versus them block, I think that it's great. I used to have mixed feelings about it because it seems like you're gloating in a way, but then I think it's just a more differentiated way to just list out your benefits. So rather than have a block of copy that says we have no sugar and this amount of carbs and this amount of protein. It's like you're actually making it super easy for someone to look at. It's essentially a bullet point list, but just like adding a little bit of extra compare and contrast so you can really see and take it home like what like the real differences are. So I think it's great. I'm definitely a fan of putting that in your abandonment emails. I'd say that's probably something that you can have in its own abandonment email where it's nothing but the abandoned item and then that. I feel like maybe there's a little bit too much going on here with having that top section and then the abandoned section and then the us versus them section. The content they have is great. I just split it up differently and make it a little bit more conversion oriented. Anytime I have an abandonment block, like the one we see in the middle, have a button right next to the abandoned item so they don't have to scroll back up to shop or they don't have to scroll down. Just have it like right there.
Yeah, I was expecting like a buy now or shop or checkout type button here.
Nowhere in the email does it say this is your item that like you left behind or hey, you viewed this item. I consistently see addressing like this was yours converts better.
Yeah, to your point, it almost feels like a promotional email up top and then oh, okay, this is an item that I may have looked at or added to my cart. So to your point, it's like not super clear about intention.
And who knows, maybe it works well for them. I just haven't seen it work well for me.
With your abandonment carts, do you do any sort of other products like recommended or bestsellers in a flow like that?
I'll only do that later in the flow.
Okay.
For the beginning of the flow, I want to make it as simple for the customer as possible. And it's just like, hey, you left this item, continue shopping. For browse abandon, earlier on in the flow, I will show them other products because it's like you viewed this item, but maybe you didn't like it. You might like these ones. But if somebody added to cart, they probably like that item. It's just a timing thing that they're not there. And so they just need those reminders. And I don't really want to distract them, overwhelm them with options. It's like, no, you already picked a good option. You picked a good one. Just go forward with it rather than give them the option to be like, I don't know, should I have gone that or this one? Because I sometimes have that issue. If I'm in a clothing store, I find a shirt I like, and I'm on my way out, and then I see a couple more. I'm like, do I really want this one? And then I start doubting if I even want a shirt at all, rather than if I just got the shirt from upstairs and I was like, this is awesome. And I just had tunnel vision and I walked straight to checkout rather than see, oh, I could have gotten this and this. I don't know. Maybe I should just save my money, yada, yada, yada. So that's typically my strategy. So on like email 4, maybe I'll start introducing some other products, maybe do some custom recommendations as well, but not until later in the flow.
I think I've seen some brands, if I signed up with a welcome offer and I still haven't used my discount, like trying to pull that into an abandonment cart flow or something to stay like, hey, you still have this discount to use on this product that you added to your cart.
For sure. And something that I always like to do, especially for at least that first email in the abandoned cart, abandoned checkout flow, is split the recipients based on their cart value. And if they qualify for free shipping, just tell them, hey, you qualify for free shipping. And just have a little piece of copy on that in the header section on like email 1, just like, hey, you can finish your order today with free shipping. And that usually is going to convert a lot better.
Okay, this last one here is a referral email. What do you think about referral programs? What do you think about this email? Is there anything that stands out to you?
First of all, again, I love how simple it is. They're not trying to do too much. It's just headline button at the top and then some body copy and button there. I love how simple it is. I hate crazy long emails with way too much copy that no one's going to read. This is great. The only thing is, like, at the top there, I'd probably put a line about like the benefit that you're giving your friend. I feel like for me, I'm more likely to refer somebody and some of the data that I get mixed data, but a little bit better just if we focus on, if you want to be a nice person, give your friend 15% off rather than being like, do us a favor, like you're helping this big corporate company make sales. Rather than framing it as hook us up with your friends, do us, a big company that makes millions and millions of dollars every year, and be like, help us. Be like, hey, you love your friends, right? Or just like, is your friend having a rough day? Or do you want to give your friend a pick me up? Give them $10 off their order. And instead, using that angle is something that we see a little bit better. People know what you're doing and they know you're making a ton of money. And so just asking them for more money is sometimes a little bit off-putting. So framing it more as like the benefit for their friend, and as well, you get credit. But typically focusing on the friend more is what works better than focusing on you get $10 off, being like, give your friend 15% off. They're your friend. They deserve it. We don't see like crazy numbers with referral programs, but it's a nice little jump, and it's something that it's just nice to have as an option for people. I don't send too many emails on referral programs, but I will have a slice about them in the footer of every email. I'm a big fan of footers and just putting good information in your footer. Like I'll always put like maybe some logos of social proof, shop now categories, your social media links, and then maybe like a referral program if you have it. Just have a little bar that says, give your friend 15% off and you get $10 off by sharing, and then just a simple learn more button. And that'll just always be getting consistent traffic for you. Every single email that you're sending, you'll get people to get eyes on it and spread awareness of it.
I definitely agree. Footers are, I think, an underappreciated piece. They get overlooked a lot. They just have the social icons, but I think you're right. There's a lot of value on thinking about that section, trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly and for the customer. All right, I think that's mostly it for Surreal. Are there any other types of emails that you think would work well for this brand?
For them specifically, I think just a little bit more on the ingredients in your emails. I think that people really do care, especially today, on what they're eating, what they're putting inside their body. That's one thing that we didn't see. We saw like the us versus them section. I think that right there, that can create a full email, but just really repeating that over and over again. I'm a big believer that you can't repeat yourself too many times with like your branding and your unique selling propositions. People forget. Thousands of brands out there, they'll forget your message, so just keep telling them. So usually like this sort of section, you just repurpose that and send that as a whole campaign and just have that as a recurring campaign. This little section that they have, just change the colors, maybe change the layout and include that in a couple different emails a month and some of your flow emails. I think that's something that, especially for them, and I don't know, I haven't followed the emails too closely and they might already do that, but that's the type of stuff that I wouldn't be afraid to repeat.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time today. I really appreciate you. People should definitely give you a follow.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for having me. That was fun.